My name is Ryman Shoaf. What I'm not is I'm not a career politician. What I am is a career naval officer. I spent 27 years of service, most of it here in the Jacksonville area. I retired from the Navy a little over 2 years ago, or right at 2 years ago. The vast majority of my time that I was here in Jacksonville was either at Cecil. I had 2 commands at the NAS Jacksonville, and I did 8 total deployments, 3 of those being out of Mayport. I have 2 master's degrees. I have a master's in aeronautical science and a master's in strategic studies, and I've taught at the graduate level for 4 years before I got out of the Navy. I have 2 children. My daughter Erin is my oldest. She is 19, getting ready to turn 20, and she is just finished her freshman year at the University of West Florida. My son Nathan is 17. He is getting ready to start his senior year in high school. I've been very blessed with my family, and then I also have my beautiful wife Susan. We are getting ready to go over 21 years of marriage. When I'm asked why do I want to run for Congress, the answer is because I don't see a future that's very positive for our children. I see $17 trillion worth of debt and still climbing. I see a president who's just out of control, and I see a lot of people in Congress, especially our current congressman, who is just there to get along and doesn't really stand up for our values of the things that we think that are important. And I certainly think I can do a better job than what I've seen in the last few years. Thank you.
What ideas do you have to help save America from financial crisis, since the Congress has been continually increasing the debt limit without reducing spending?
History has shown us that when countries destroy their finances, they very seldom come back. In fact, the only country that I know that has ruined their finances and was able to come back was Germany. But they had to go through a Second World War and about 80 years before their economy was on a footing where they could create the jobs to take care of their citizens, and also lots of money from America in order to prop up their economy until they could get going. If we destroy our economy, it won't come back during our lifetime, nor our children's or their children, if at all. And I think we're at a very dangerous position with the amount of debt that we see on the horizon. There are some plans out there. The penny plan is really nice, I think, and that would be something that I would certainly stand behind. But I'm all for the Constitution, and I think we should do whatever we can to increase the number of jobs, people working, and then cut the government. I mean, there is no reason that every American has to live within a budget, and then our government doesn't have to live within a budget, and that takes leadership. And we don't see a lot of that in D.C. I'd like to change that if I could. Leadership is the answer. Thank you.
Thank you. While other nations are becoming militarily stronger, America has become weaker with our defense continually reduced. What economically sound strategy do you propose to rebuild America into a strong nation again?
Well, again, let's go back to history. In 1976, the troops were demoralized, the economy was down, and then we had a president, Ronald Reagan, who came in, cut regulation, cut taxes, grew the economy so we could have the resources in order to take care of our military. And because of his vision, the economy did very, very well under him, lots of jobs created, and as our military presence grew, then we were able to defeat the Russians without firing a shot. Weakness invites an attack, and strength, of course, keeps the attack away from us. And that's where I think we should go. Let's first fix the economy and then use those revenues to strengthen our military.
Thank you. Illegal immigration of both terrorists and the poverty-stricken is a serious problem that the government has failed to solve. Briefly describe what ideas you propose that will help solve this financial and security crisis.
Well, when you see on the news, whether it be Republican or Democrat, where they're talking about the immigration issue, they always lump immigration issue with securing the border. Immigration is its own issue. The question I have for people is, why do we have an immigration problem? Because we have a U.S. Customs and Department of Immigration. Aren't they supposed to do their job? How come no one holds them accountable for not doing their job? If we have a Department of Immigration that's doing their job, then we shouldn't have an immigration problem. First of all, you're going to have to fix that department, because apparently they're not doing their job. And then the second thing is the securing of the border. The securing of the border is not an immigration issue. The securing of the border is a national security issue. The two need to be separated. Secure the border, that takes care of our national security, and then let's fix the immigration problem, and that answer for that is through the Department of Immigration, not through amnesty, not through another piece of legislation. What good does it do to have another law when we don't obey the laws we have now? Let's obey the laws, take care of the immigration, and not lump the immigration in with with the securing of the border, because that's a national security issue.
Thank you. The Affordable Health Care Act is not what was promised to Americans. What should be done about this act?
The Affordable Health Care Act. Well, first of all, it's not health care. It's health insurance. And health insurance is not health care. And it's not affordable. So we don't have the Affordable Health Care Act. We have the Unaffordable Insurance Act. I mean, don't you find it interesting that if the Health Care Act is so good, why does the government have to force us to do it? The government only has to force us to do those things that aren't good. And the Affordable Care Act is not good. I've talked to enough nurses and doctors who have told me that it's just an expansion of Medicaid. Most doctors aren't taking Medicaid now as it is, so now you have people paying more insurance, but the health care is not getting any better. They don't have any greater access. All they have is very high-priced insurance, which is not health care. Let's repeal the Affordable Health Care Act, and I would prefer that the government get out of health care altogether. There's nothing in the Constitution, there's no reason for the government to be in health care. If we do have to, or if the feeling of the citizens is that they would like to have some help from the government, there are other countries that are doing it much better than us. All we did was take the absolute worst procedures and legislation as we could, grouped it into one bill called the Affordable Health Care Act, and now we have to deal with it. All we're going to get is the leftovers from a very poor system, and I don't think any American should have that.
Thank you. Do you support or oppose the Second Amendment, and why?
Well, the Second Amendment is there for a reason. It's part of the Constitution, and I'm a huge fan of the Constitution. I'm a life member of the National Rifle Association, and have been since 1996. If anyone was to ask me or make a statement that I'm in the pocket of the NRA, I would say that's not so, because the NRA is in my pocket. In fact, I have that card in my pocket right now, and it'll always stay in my wallet. Different wallet, but always the same card. I'm a big supporter of the Second Amendment, as of all the amendments to the Constitution.
Thank you. Do you have any closing remarks?
Well, come 26 August, those people that are in the Congressional 4th District, which is Nassau, Baker, and Duval County, you have a clear choice. You can send a very well-connected member of Congress back for one more term. And I hear that quite often. You know, why should we vote for you when we have a well-connected individual there already? And my answer is because it's called the U.S. House of Representatives. It's not called the U.S. House of the Well-Connected. What do we get when we send the same career politicians back to D.C. over and over again? Well, I'll tell you what we get. We get $17 trillion worth of debt, the Affordable Health Care Act, which is destroying our health care, and we don't seem to really have someone here who stands up for us. Maybe we let's make a change, and everyone will have the opportunity on 26 August to vote for that change. Someone who will stand up for those things that we believe in, like a reverence for the Constitution, a reverence for life, personal responsibility, and a limited government. A government that is there that seeks to serve. It's a government full of people always seeking to be served. 26 August, you have a choice. Thank you.